Hi guys, this is part 3 of our sort of scrolling shooter game, and we are going to be making our boss. So what we've got so far is our setup. We've got our fuel for our main character, plus our enemies. And our fuel comes in and out, obviously. Um, so the next step is to make our boss, which is quite a complicated process. We're going to make our boss first, and then after that, I'll probably do another video showing how to make your boss fight back, I guess. Because at the moment, it's just going to come in and stay there while we shoot it. But eventually, it will shoot at you once we get to that part. So all you'll need for this is you'll need to drag your enemy code over somewhere where it has a bit more space, because this is the code we'll be changing to spawn in our boss. So the first thing we're going to do is add a variable to our start block. So this is our on start. And we're going to make a new variable called boss alive. And this is just how our game is going to keep track of if the boss is alive or not. So obviously it will start as false because the boss isn't alive at the start of the game. And we're going to drag our enemy code out and just put it off to the side for now. We're going to go into a logic block. We're going to go if, grab an equals, if boss alive, whoops, if boss alive is equal to false, and then we're going to have another if block and an and, then two more equals. So it's saying if this and this are true, then it will do this code in here. So we're going to go if score, change the equals to does not equal 0. So if score is not 0, and then in math, remainder of score divided by, and then this is what point amount you want your boss to spawn in. So I'm going to go with 10 points. So if score divided by 10 is equal to 0, and we'll click on this plus to make an else. This is where our enemy code will go. Enemy code goes in here. This is what we had before. And our new boss code will go in here. So if you have 10 points, it will spawn the boss here. Also every 10 points, so 10 points and 20 points and 30 points, the boss will spawn. So every 10 points, it will run this code here. If it's not, it will spawn in your enemies. So else. So if we do have something divisible by 10, so if we have 10, 20, 30 points, we want to go into variables and set boss alive to true. Then we want to create our boss, so we use a projectile from the side again, same as our enemy. So set my boss to, and I already drawn my boss here, but notice I've made it 24 by 24. So a normal enemy is 16 by 16, but I wanted my boss to be bigger and scarier, so I've gone by 24 by 24. And we'll set this to 0 and this to 30. So this was 0 because we want our boss to come straight down, and we want it to come down slow, much slower than the enemy. The next step is we want to set my boss's x. Here's my boss, and we're going to set that to 80, which is the middle of the screen, because we want our boss to come down in the middle always. We don't want it to come down somewhere off to the side where it isn't like fully shown. And then we're going to go into sprites and set my boss kind to, and we'll make a new kind here called boss. Next, we're going to give our boss a health bar. So if you've seen our status bars video, this will be helpful. If you haven't, you can watch it now or just try follow along from here. So we'll need the status bars extension, which we use for the fuel as well. So we're going to set status bar and we'll name it boss health. And I'm going to make it wider like we did in the status bar video, just to make it a bit scarier. And we'll set its kind to enemy health. And next we're going to attach the status bar to our boss. Attach boss health to my boss. And we'll give it the padding of 5, just like in our status bars video. So good idea to watch that. But basically what this is doing is just telling it so it doesn't touch our boss, which would, because it looks a lot nicer if it's floating above it instead. Our next step is we want our boss to, I'll just show you what our boss looks like right now, and then I'll explain it to you. So right now, our boss comes in, well, it came in at 10 points, didn't it? Quickly at 10 points. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, crash, 10. So our boss comes in, but he just sort of keeps flying and he floats off the screen. And now our game does nothing. So we want our boss to stay at the top so we can fight it. So if we go into game and on game update, then we're going to go if from logic and then variables boss alive. So if the boss is alive, then this one here, set my boss y to, and in math we're going to get constrain, which holds it between two places. So set my boss y to constrain my boss y. Constrain my boss y between 0 and 40. So we'll stay in the top third of the screen. So I'm going to lower the amount of points we need. I'll just make it 3 points just so we can see our boss come in sooner. So when we get to 3 points, our boss will spawn instead. Yeah, so we'll see our boss comes in and stays there so we can now fight it. The next step is obviously to make it so we can hit our boss. So we will need in sprites, we need this on sprite of kind overlaps another sprite. And we're going to make it projectile overlaps boss. So when a projectile hits the boss, we want to destroy the projectile, so destroy sprite, because sprite is the projectile. And then we want to go into status bars, change boss health by -1. So if we go to our boss again, you will notice that, one moment, get this going. You will notice that the boss's health goes down very slowly, because we're doing it -1 at a time. If you want to just keep one kind of weapon, I would say it to something like -5, because then you have to hit your boss 20 times to kill it. Oops. Whereas if you want to add multiple weapons, which we do have a video on how to make, you could have it so you could switch weapons to kill your boss. So I won't do multiple weapons in this video just because, for the sake of simplicity. But do check out our other video called Weapon Arrays, which will teach you how to make multiple weapons, and some of them can do more damage or less damage than others. So the next step is for in status bars. We're going to grab out this on status bar kind enemy health 0 status. We want to, so when the boss runs out of health, we want to destroy sprite that status bar is attached to. So change this to boss health. So destroy sprite that boss health is attached to. Then we want to set boss alive to false, because the boss is no longer alive. This means the enemies will start spawning in again as well. So there we are. Here's our basic boss setup. So here we can kill our enemies. Our boss comes in, and if we shoot it enough, oh, whoops, sorry. The thing we've forgotten to do is give us points when we kill our boss. So when our boss dies, we want to change score by, let's give us 5 points for killing our boss. There we go. So now, kill an enemy, 2, 3. Our boss comes in. Oh, whoops. This should be in our sprite dying boss. There we are. My mistake. So now, sorry about that. Kill 1, 2, 3. And then, when we eventually kill our boss, we'll get more points and enemies will start spawning again. So there you go. I'll re-show you the code. So this is our boss dying code. We've got our when it dies, we'll get 5 points and that sort of stuff. And this is your bullets hitting your boss. Here's what keeps the boss at the top of the screen. This is spawning your enemies and spawning the boss. Change that back to 10. And this is spawning the boss here. And that's all the code we added today. So the next episode will be your boss sort of shooting patterns of bullets at you. So maybe a big spray or a burst of bullets. So I'll see you in that video. See ya.